Imagine working a 9 to 5 and still building your dream business on the side. Sounds impossible? Well, it's not. In fact, it could be the first step toward the life you've always wanted. Hi everyone, my name is James.
And I'm Olivia.
If you've ever wondered how to turn your passion into a thriving business without quitting your full-time job, this is the podcast for you.
Today, we're sharing a practical step-by-step guide to help you balance your job while building a business that could lead to financial freedom, fulfillment, and flexibility.
From managing your time effectively to creating sustainable habits, identifying high-impact tasks, and transitioning to full-time entrepreneurship, we're breaking it all down for you.
So, whether you have just 10 hours a week or a full weekend to dedicate, we'll show you how to make those hours count. Ready to start building the business of your dreams? Let's get started.
Today, we are going to be looking at how to build a business while working a 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of people are thinking about and a lot of people want to do.
It's the dream, right? To be your own boss, to kind of set your own hours and to pursue that passion project.
It is. And, you think about all these success stories. You hear about entrepreneurs who quit their job and then made it big.
But as we are going to find out today, it doesn't always have to be that way.
Right.
And you can actually lay a really strong foundation for your business while still having that stability of a full-time job.
Absolutely. And, a lot of times that's actually the smarter approach.
So that's what we're diving into today. The source material we've got is all about strategies and practical tips for making this work.
Yeah. And what I found really interesting is that it starts with a kind of a reality check.
Oh, okay. Lay it on me.
It's called a time inventory. And it's this idea that we all have the same 168 hours in a week.
Okay, 168 hours?
Yeah.
I don't know, that makes me feel better or worse, honestly.
I know it can feel a little daunting when you put it that way, but it's actually empowering because it means that,
we're all playing on the same field.
Exactly. It's all about how we choose to use those hours.
So how does this source material suggest we break it all down?
Well, it starts with the essentials, right? Sleep, you've got to factor in 7 to 8 hours a night.
Okay, so 56 hours right off the bat for sleep.
Makes sense. And then there's work itself, the 40 hours or so, depending on, your schedule.
Plus the commute.
Right. And the commute can easily add another hour or two each day.
Especially if you're in a busy city or, have a longer commute.
Absolutely. So then on top of work and sleep, we've got all those life essentials.
The errands, the cooking, family time.
Exactly. All that stuff adds up. And the source material estimates around 3 hours a day for all of that.
So we're already at over 100 hours a week just for those basic things.
Yeah, it can feel like there's not much left for anything else.
I'm already starting to feel a little stressed just thinking about it.
I know, but here's the thing. Even after all of that is accounted for, you're still left with around 40 to 50 hours of flexible time each week.
Wait, hold on. 40 to 50 hours? I was not expecting that.
Right. It's more than you think.
Okay, but it's not just about finding those hours. It's about using them effectively, right?
Exactly. And that's where the concept of golden hours comes in.
Okay, I've heard of that. Is it like that time of day when the lighting is perfect for taking photos?
Well, kind of, but in this context, it's more about identifying the time of day when you are most productive.
Oh, I see. Like, for me, it's definitely the mornings before the rest of the world wakes up.
Yeah, that's a common one, but it can be different for everyone. Maybe it's late at night, or maybe it's those quiet Sunday mornings.
The key is to figure out what works for you and then actually protect those hours.
Right.
Absolutely.
Those are your prime time for working on your business.
Make them non-negotiable.
Treat them like you would a really important meeting.
So we've got our golden hours carved out. We're feeling motivated. What's next?
Well, the source material talks a lot about the importance of focused work.
Okay, focus. That's definitely something I struggle with, especially with all the distractions these days.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's crucial for making the most of your time.
The source material mentions a technique called the domino effect. What is that all about?
It's based on the idea that starting is often the hardest part.
Oh, tell me about it.
So the domino effect is about setting yourself up for success by starting with a small, easy task.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Something that takes just a few minutes to complete.
So it's like a warm-up for your brain.
Exactly. And that small win creates momentum and makes it easier to tackle the next task and then the next one.
I see like a chain reaction of productivity.
Precisely.
I'm already feeling more productive just thinking about it.
I know, right? And it helps you avoid getting bogged down in those big, overwhelming tasks.
So we're starting small, we're building momentum. What else can we do to maximize our focus?
The source material also talks about the importance of prioritization.
Oh, prioritization.
Yeah.
That's a big one. I feel like I'm constantly trying to do a million things at once.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in that whirlwind, but the key is to identify the tasks that are truly important and focus on those first.
Okay, but how do we actually figure out what's truly important? I feel like everything feels important in the moment.
Well, the source material suggests using a system called the Eisenhower matrix.
Okay, I've vaguely heard of this. Break it down for me.
It's a really simple way to categorize your tasks based on urgency and importance.
So you've got things that are both urgent and important.
Right, those are the do it now tasks.
Okay, makes sense. And then there are things that are important but not urgent.
Those are the schedule it tasks. You want to make sure you're making time for those, but they don't need to be tackled immediately.
Okay, what about the stuff that's urgent but not important?
Those are the ones you want to delegate whenever possible.
Delegation. That's a skill in itself.
It is, but it's so important for freeing up your time and mental energy.
And then there's the stuff that's neither urgent nor important.
The source material is pretty clear about those. Eliminate them
Just get rid of them altogether.
as much as possible.
It's like decluttering your to-do list.
It is, and it allows you to focus on the things that actually move the needle.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense. I'm feeling like I'm getting a handle on this whole time management thing.
It's a journey for sure, but even small changes can make a big difference.
The source material also talks about the importance of building systems and habits, right?
Absolutely. It's about creating a structure that supports your entrepreneurial goals.
Okay, so what are some practical tips for building those systems and habits?
Well, one technique that stood out to me was habit stacking.
Habit stacking. I haven't heard of that one.
It's a really simple but effective way to create new habits by attaching them to existing habits.
Okay, I'm listening.
So, for example, let's say you already have a habit of making your coffee every morning.
Okay, guilty as charged.
You can stack a new habit onto that existing routine.
Like what? Reading a business book while I sip my coffee.
Exactly. Or maybe spending 5 minutes brainstorming ideas or checking your social media analytics.
I see. So it's like sneaking in those productive actions without it feeling like a huge effort.
Exactly. You're leveraging the power of existing routines.
That's brilliant. I'm already thinking of all the habits I can stack.
It's a game changer for sure.
What other system building tips does the source material offer?
It also talks about the importance of time blocking.
Okay, I've heard of this, but I haven't really tried it.
It's about scheduling specific blocks of time for certain tasks or activities.
So instead of just hoping I'll find time to work on my business, I actually block it out of my calendar.
Precisely. You're making it a non-negotiable part of your day.
It's like treating those business tasks like important meetings.
Exactly.
I can see how that would force me to actually prioritize those activities.
It's all about being intentional with your time.
The source material also mentions something about batching similar tasks.
Yes, batching is a great way to improve efficiency.
Explain how that works.
It's about grouping similar activities together instead of scattering them throughout the day.
Okay, I think I get it. So instead of switching back and forth between writing marketing and admin tasks, I dedicate specific blocks of time to each category.
Exactly. And this allows you to get into a flow state and work more efficiently.
Plus, it minimizes those context switches that can really drain your energy.
Exactly. You're working smarter, not harder.
I like it. I'm all about working smarter.
Me too.
Speaking of working smarter, the source material also seemed to be a big advocate for automation.
Absolutely. Automation is a game changer for busy entrepreneurs.
Okay, I have to admit, I get a little intimidated by automation. It seems so techy.
It doesn't have to be complicated. There are so many user-friendly tools out there.
Okay, convince me. What are some of the things we can automate?
Well, think about all those repetitive tasks you do for your business. Things like email marketing, social media scheduling, even some aspects of customer service.
Okay, yeah, those can be real-time sucks.
Exactly. But there are tools that can handle those tasks for you, freeing up your time and mental energy.
So it's like having a virtual assistant working behind the scenes.
Exactly. And it allows you to focus on the things that only you can do.
The things that require your unique skills and creativity.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light when it comes to automation.
It's a game changer for sure.
What about tasks that we can't automate? What about those things that require a human touch?
Well, that's where delegation comes in.
Delegate. Another one of those skills that I'm working on.
It's a learning curve for sure, but it's essential for scaling your business.
So how do we get better at delegating?
The source material suggests starting by identifying the tasks that you don't enjoy doing or that aren't the best use of your time.
Okay, that makes sense. So if I hate doing bookkeeping, maybe I should find someone else to handle that.
Exactly. And there are so many talented freelancers and virtual assistants out there who can help you with those tasks.
Yeah, platforms like Fiverr and Upwork make it so easy to connect with people who have specific skills.
It's amazing how accessible those resources are these days.
Okay, so we're automating, we're delegating, we're starting to feel like we're getting a handle on this whole balancing act
It's all about building a system that supports your goals.
and freeing up your time and energy for the things that matter most.
Exactly.
This is all great stuff, but I have to admit, I'm still wondering how we actually make that transition from side hustle to full-time entrepreneur.
That's a great question, and one that we'll be diving into in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm ready for it. Let's talk about how to turn that dream into a reality.
Absolutely. We'll cover all that, and more, so stay tuned. All right, so we're talking about making that transition from side hustle to full-time entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right? To be able to quit your job and focus on your business 100%.
It is, but the source material actually cautions against making that leap too soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, they emphasize the importance of what they call a gradual transition.
Okay, so it's not about just burning bridges and hoping for the best.
Exactly. It's about building a solid foundation for your business while you still have the stability of your full-time job.
So it's like building that bridge before you cross it.
Exactly. And the source material suggests we start by validating our business idea.
Okay, validation, that makes sense. But how do we actually do that?
Well, they talk about this concept of minimum viable validation.
Minimum viable validation, what is that all about?
It's about testing your assumptions and making sure there's actual demand for what you're offering.
Okay, so before we invest a ton of time and money into building something, we want to make sure that people actually want it.
Exactly. It's about mitigating risk.
So how do we go about gathering this validation?
The source material suggests creating what they call a feedback loop.
Okay, a feedback loop, tell me more.
It's about actively seeking feedback from potential customers at every stage of your business development.
So not just waiting until we have a finished product to get feedback.
Exactly. You want to be getting feedback throughout the entire process.
Okay, so who do we ask for feedback? Friends and family.
They can be a good starting point, but you also want to reach out to people who are outside of your immediate circle.
People who might actually be your target market.
Exactly. You can do online surveys. You can create a simple landing page to gauge interest.
Even just having conversations with people in your industry.
Absolutely. The key is to get as much feedback as possible from as many different sources as possible.
And then use that feedback to refine our idea and make sure we're on the right track.
Exactly. It's an iterative process.
I like it. It's about being responsive and adaptable.
Exactly. And the source material actually provides a framework for delivering and receiving constructive criticism.
Oh,
What is that?
they call it the feedback sandwich.
Okay. I'm intrigued. This sounds delicious.
It's a simple structure for giving feedback that's both honest and encouraging.
So how does it work?
You start by highlighting something positive.
Okay, so start with a compliment.
Exactly. Then you offer your constructive criticism,
So the meat of the sandwich.
and then you end on another positive note. So it's like a positive criticism, positive sandwich.
Exactly.
I like it. It's a way to deliver feedback that's both helpful and encouraging.
Exactly. And it makes it easier for people to receive that feedback without feeling defensive.
So we're validating our idea, we're getting feedback, we're feeling good about our product or service. What's next?
Well, the source material talks about the importance of building a sustainable revenue stream.
Okay. That's getting to the heart of things, right? We want to make sure this business can actually support us financially.
Exactly. And they introduced this framework called the revenue ladder.
The revenue ladder. Okay, I'm picturing us climbing our way to financial freedom.
It's about diversifying your income streams.
So not putting all our eggs in one basket.
Exactly. You want to have multiple rungs on your ladder, each representing a different source of revenue.
Okay, so what might those runs look like?
It could involve offering different product tiers.
Okay, so like a basic version, a premium version, and a super deluxe version.
Exactly. Or you could create recurring subscription models.
So people are paying us on a monthly or yearly basis.
Exactly. That provides a more stable and predictable income stream.
And you could also explore affiliate marketing opportunities.
Absolutely. There are so many ways to diversify your revenue streams.
The key is to be creative and think outside the box.
Exactly. And to build a business that's resilient and can weather any storms.
I like it. It's about creating a safety net for our business.
Exactly. And speaking of safety nets, the source material also talks about the importance of building a financial cushion before making that leap to full-time entrepreneurship.
Okay, this is something I've definitely been thinking about. How much money do we actually need to save before we quit our jobs.
Well, they recommend having at least 6 to 12 months of living expenses saved up.
Wow, that's a significant chunk of change.
It is, but it provides you with that peace of mind and allows you to focus on growing your business without constantly worrying about making ends meet.
It's like having that buffer zone that allows you to take risks and make bold decisions.
Exactly, and they actually suggest a technique called the reverse budget for building up that savings.
The reverse budget. I haven't heard of that one.
It's a different way of approaching budgeting.
How so?
Well, instead of saving what's left over after paying your bills.
Which is usually not much, let's be honest.
Exactly. You start by determining how much money you want to save each month.
So we set our savings goal first.
Exactly. And then you allocate the rest of your income to your expenses.
Okay, so it's about prioritizing our savings from the start.
Exactly. It's a mindset shift.
I like it. It's about making our financial goals a non-negotiable part of our budget.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're validating our idea, we're building multiple streams of income, we're creating a financial safety net. I'm starting to see how these pieces fit together to create that bridge from side hustle to full-time entrepreneur.
It's all about being strategic and intentional.
And building that momentum over time.
Exactly. And the source material actually emphasizes that this transition doesn't have to happen overnight.
Okay, so it's not about setting a hard deadline and then feeling like a failure if we don't meet it.
Exactly. It's about gradually increasing the amount of time and energy you're dedicating to your business.
So it's like turning up the volume slowly.
Exactly. And eventually you'll reach a point where it makes sense to make that leap.
But until then, we're focusing on building that strong foundation.
Exactly. And that includes taking care of ourselves.
Oh, self-care. That's so important. I feel like it's often the first thing to go when we get busy.
Yeah. But the source material actually dedicates a whole section to the importance of self-care for entrepreneurs.
Okay, I'm listening. What do they suggest?
Well, they talk about this concept of energy management.
Energy management. So it's not just about managing our time, it's about managing our energy as well.
Exactly. It's about understanding your personal energy levels and rhythms.
So like knowing when we're most productive and when we need to take a break.
Exactly. And then scheduling your activities accordingly.
So I know I'm usually drained after work. I shouldn't plan any high-energy business tasks for that time.
Exactly. It's about working with your natural energy flow, not against it.
And it's also about making sure we're doing things that replenish our energy.
Absolutely. Things like exercise, getting enough sleep, spending time with loved ones.
All those things that fill our cup, so to speak.
Exactly. And the source material suggests creating what they call an energy audit.
An energy audit. What is that?
It's basically a way to track your energy levels throughout the day and identify the things that energize you and the things that drain you.
Okay, so it's like taking inventory of our energy sources.
Exactly. And then making conscious choices about how we spend our energy.
I like it. It's about being mindful of our energy, just like we're being mindful of our time.
Exactly. And it's essential for avoiding burnout.
Okay, so we're managing our energy, we're building our bridge, we're validating our ideas. It seems like we're really starting to gain momentum here. What else can we learn from the source material that will help us navigate this transition smoothly?
Well, one of the most valuable takeaways for me was the importance of defining a clear exit strategy.
Okay, an exit strategy. This sounds serious.
It is. It's about having a plan in place for when you do decide to make that leap to full-time entrepreneurship.
So it's not just about quitting our jobs on a whim. It's about being strategic and intentional about that transition.
Exactly. And the source material suggests starting by defining what success means to you.
So what are our financial goals? What lifestyle do we want to create?
Exactly. Once you have a clear vision of your desired outcome, you can work backwards and create a roadmap for achieving it.
So it's about setting those measurable milestones that will signal, okay, I'm ready to make this business my primary focus.
Exactly. And it also involves addressing the logistical aspects of leaving your job.
So things like negotiating a smooth transition with our current employer.
Exactly. Making sure you understand your legal and financial obligations.
And ensuring we have adequate health insurance coverage.
Absolutely. It's about thinking through all those practicalities in advance so you're not scrambling to figure it all out at the last minute.
It's about being prepared.
Exactly. And the source material also stresses that your exit strategy doesn't have to be set in stone.
Okay, so it can evolve and adapt as our business grows and our circumstances change.
Exactly. The key is to have a plan in place to revisit it regularly and to make adjustments as needed.
I like it. It's about being flexible and open to change.
Exactly. And this reminds me of another point the source material made about the importance of building a support network.
Oh, support network. This is so crucial. I feel like entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey at times.
It can be, but it doesn't have to be. There are so many people out there who are going through the same thing.
So it's about finding our tribe, so to speak.
Exactly, whether it's a supportive partner, family members, fellow entrepreneurs, or even online communities.
Surrounding yourself with people who understand the challenges and celebrate the wins.
Absolutely, and who can offer support during those inevitable setbacks.
It's about knowing that you're not alone in this journey.
Exactly, and this ties into another point the source material made about the importance of cultivating a growth mindset.
Okay, a growth mindset. This is something I've heard a lot about, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Well, it's about embracing challenges as opportunities for growth.
So instead of seeing setbacks as failures, we see them as learning experiences.
Exactly. And it's about constantly seeking ways to improve and expand your skills.
It's about having that always learning attitude.
Exactly. And being open to new ideas, feedback, and perspectives.
And constantly pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone.
Exactly. And this growth mindset is essential for not just navigating the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, but for thriving in any aspect of life.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this section of our deep dive, from validating our business idea to creating a financial safety net, crafting an exit strategy, building a support network, and cultivating a growth mindset. I'm feeling incredibly inspired and ready to take action, but I have to admit, I'm also wondering about the mental and emotional side of things.
That's a great point, and one that the source material doesn't shy away from it. It acknowledges that this journey can be a roller coaster ride of emotions.
There will be highs and lows, moments of doubt and moments of exhilaration. Any advice on how to navigate those emotional waves without getting swept away?
Well, one of the most valuable takeaways from the source material was the emphasis on practicing mindfulness throughout this journey.
Mindfulness, that word gets thrown around a lot these days. What does it actually mean in the context of building a business?
It's about bringing awareness to the present moment without judgment.
So it's about noticing our thoughts and emotions without getting carried away by them.
Exactly. It's about creating space for ourselves to breathe, to pause, and to reconnect with our inner wisdom.
So it's about finding those moments of stillness amidst the chaos.
Exactly. And it can be incredibly grounding, especially when things get stressful.
So what are some practical ways we can incorporate mindfulness into our daily lives?
The source material offers some really simple yet powerful techniques, like taking a few deep breaths before starting a work session, practicing gratitude journaling, or even just spending a few minutes each day in quiet reflection.
Okay, so it's about incorporating those little rituals that help us stay centered and present.
Exactly. And this ties into another point the source material made about the importance of celebrating our wins along the way.
Oh, celebrating our wins. This is so important. It's easy to get so caught up in the hustle that we forget to acknowledge our progress.
Yeah, but it's crucial for staying motivated and keeping that momentum going.
So it's about taking the time to acknowledge how far we've come.
Exactly, and to celebrate those milestones no matter how small.
It's about recognizing that we're making progress even when it doesn't feel like it.
Exactly, and it helps to keep us going when things get tough.
Okay, so we're managing our energy, we're building our bridge, we're validating our ideas, we're crafting our exit strategy, we're building a support network, we're cultivating a growth mindset, we're practicing mindfulness, and we're celebrating our wins. I have to say, this is a lot to take in, but it's also incredibly empowering.
It is, and remember, you don't have to do everything perfectly from the start.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. It's about making progress, learning from your experiences, and adapting your approach along the way.
It's about embracing the journey.
Exactly. And with the right mindset, strategies, and support, you can absolutely achieve your entrepreneurial dreams while still rocking that 9-to-5.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I'm feeling inspired and ready to take action. But before we move on to the next part, I'm curious about what stood out to you as the most valuable takeaway from the source material.
That's a great question. For me, it was the emphasis on aligning your business with your personal values and passions.
Oh, that's so important. I think a lot of people get caught up in the idea of making money, but they forget about the importance of finding work that's actually meaningful to them.
Exactly. The source material really drove home the point that building a business shouldn't feel like a chore or a burden.
It should be an extension of who you are and what you care about.
Exactly. And when you're passionate about what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work.
It feels like a calling.
Exactly. And that's what sustains you through the tough times.
And it's what attracts customers, investors, and team members who believe in your vision.
Absolutely. It's about creating a movement, not just a business.
I love it. I think that's a perfect segue into the final part of our deep dive, where we'll be exploring the mindset required to thrive as a working entrepreneur.
Okay, I'm excited to dive into that. Let's talk about how to cultivate that unshakable belief in ourselves and our vision.
All right, so we've talked about the practical strategies for building a business while working full-time,
We've covered a lot of ground.
but now I want to shift gears a bit and talk about the mindset, the inner game of being a working entrepreneur.
Yeah, the mindset is everything, isn't it?
It really is, and the source material actually dedicates a whole section to what it calls the entrepreneur's mindset.
I love that.
So what are some of the key traits or attitudes that they highlight?
Well, one of the first things that stood out to me was the emphasis on self-belief.
Self-belief. Okay, so believing in yourself and your vision, even when things get tough.
Exactly. Because let's face it, there are going to be challenges. There are going to be setbacks.
Especially when you're trying to juggle a full-time job and a side hustle.
Absolutely. You need that unwavering faith in yourself to keep going.
So self-belief is like the foundation?
I think so. And then on top of that, you need grit.
Grit. Oh, I love that word. What do they mean by grit in this context?
It's about that relentless pursuit of your goals, that willingness to keep going even when things get tough.
It's about not giving up.
Exactly. It's about having that stamina, that resilience to weather the storms.
Because there will be storms, right?
Oh, absolutely. But the entrepreneurs who succeed are the ones who can push through those storms.
So how do we cultivate that grit? Is it something we're born with, or can we develop it?
I think it's a bit of both, but the source material actually offers a really cool concept called the 1% rule for building grit.
The 1% rule. I've never heard of that. Tell me more.
It's about focusing on making small incremental improvements each day.
Okay, so instead of trying to change everything overnight,
Exactly. You focus on getting 1% better each day.
I see. So it's about consistency and small wins,
Exactly. Those small wins add up over time.
and create that momentum that keeps you going.
Exactly.
I like that it's a very manageable approach.
It is, and it's more sustainable than trying to do everything at once.
Okay, so we've got self-belief, we've got grit. What else is part of this entrepreneurial mindset?
Well, the source material also talks about the importance of adaptability.
Adaptability, being able to change course when needed,
Exactly, because things rarely go according to plan in the business world.
especially in the startup world.
Absolutely. So being able to pivot, to adjust your strategy, to embrace new information is crucial.
So how do we become more adaptable? Is it about being less attached to our plans?
I think that's part of it, but the source material suggests cultivating what it calls a beginner's mind.
Beginner's mind. What is that all about?
It's about approaching each situation with a sense of curiosity and openness as if you're seeing it for the first time.
So like a child seeing the world with fresh eyes.
Exactly. It's about letting go of preconceived notions and being willing to learn from anyone and anything.
I love that it's about being open to new possibilities.
Exactly. And that openness can lead to amazing breakthroughs.
Okay, so we're being adaptable. We're embracing that beginner's mind. What else do we need?
Well, the source material also highlights the importance of resourcefulness.
Resourcefulness, being able to make the most of what you have.
Exactly. It's about finding creative solutions, leveraging your network, being scrappy.
It's about not letting limited resources hold you back.
Exactly. It's about that entrepreneurial hustle.
And I think a lot of that resourcefulness stems from passion, right?
Absolutely, because building a business is hard work.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Exactly. So you need that passion, that fire in your belly to keep you going.
It's what gets you out of bed on those early mornings and keeps you working late into the night.
Exactly. And it's what makes all the sacrifices worthwhile.
Because there will be sacrifices.
Oh, absolutely. But when you're truly passionate about what you're doing, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It feels like an investment.
An investment in your dreams. Yep. Okay, so we've got passion, we've got resourcefulness, we've got adaptability, we've got grit, we've got self-belief. Anything else?
Well, one more thing that the source material emphasizes is vision.
Vision. Having that clear sense of where you're going and why.
Exactly. It's about knowing what you want to achieve and having that North Star to guide you.
It's about seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. And that vision should be something that excites you, that challenges you, that makes you want to jump out of bed every morning.
It should be something that you're truly passionate about.
Absolutely, because that passion is what will sustain you through the tough times.
And it's what will inspire others to believe in your vision.
Exactly.
This has been such an inspiring conversation. I'm feeling so energized and ready to take action.
Me too. It's amazing what can be accomplished when we combine the right strategies with the right mindset.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Building a business while working full-time is a challenging journey, but it's also an incredibly rewarding one. By tapping into your inner strength embracing the entrepreneurial mindset, and surrounding yourself with a supportive community.
You can achieve anything.
You can absolutely turn your dreams into a reality.
And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
So pace yourself, celebrate the small wins, and never give up on your vision.
Words to live by.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of working entrepreneurship.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of knowledge and ideas.
Until then, keep those entrepreneurial spirits burning bright.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content.